Hello guys, welcome here to Out of Turn 4. Coming up, we are going to recap Las Vegas. Some news on the NASCAR TV deal we're going to talk about. Some entry list changes. NASCAR, the new NASCAR console game we forgot to talk about last week. We're going to talk about it this week because there's some new news out about that. And then, of course, we will make our picks for the race weekend at Homestead, but we begin with the recap. Riley Herbst put on a clinic at Las Vegas to get the win. His first career National Series win. Oh my god, the dude put on a fucking clinic. I mean, 13 seconds he won by. Just remarkable, to say the least. Congratulations to him. I've had my doubts about him. I know a lot of people have had their doubts about him. And he finally came through, getting a big one. And not only came through, but came through in the world's biggest fashion. I mean, you don't win by 15 seconds by mistake. So, congratulations to Riley. Man. For a while, I'm like, man, this kid's a paid driver. He doesn't belong in the Stewart-Haas Xfinity program. What has he done lately? And I'm glad I can finally shut myself up about that. So congratulations to Riley. Again, there were doubts about him, but now I think I can put him to the side a little bit. Again, I mean, you don't win by that much by mistake. I can't say that enough. So, good race, good win, and obviously happy for him. Kyle Larson, man, another thrilling race at Las Vegas. And man, I wish Las Vegas was NASCAR owned, because then we could have Las Vegas as the championship race, as it rightfully deserves to be. He locks into the championship 4 with the win. I had my doubts about Kyle Larson too. I guess this is a weekend where my doubts and my suspicions kind of get cast to the wayside. Because, again, Kyle Larson, not very consistent through the playoffs thus far. So that was my biggest doubt, was can he get to the championship 4? He was my pick at the beginning of the playoffs, but the first 2 rounds really didn't heat up. He looked like he was headed home in round number 2, the round of 12, and somehow narrowly scathed off elimination to continue, and to hold off Christopher Bell in the process, who had a remarkable race, probably the strongest car outside of Kyle Larson's, probably the strongest in the long run, because the dude ran him down. If Christopher Bell had one more lap, he was going to overtake Larson. There was no question there. So, a great race overall. Man, I'm telling you, this just proves, like I said, and I may be in the minority, but if we can't have Homestead, or I'm sorry, I may be saying stuff NASCAR obviously won't do, but if we can't have Homestead as a finale, then Las Vegas needs to be that finale. But knowing our luck, we'll end up with Atlanta in a few years as the finale. That's just how NASCAR works. Whatever the fans want, whatever the fans see as good racing, they cast it to the side and say, fuck them. So, that's all I gotta say about that. Great race. Great finish, man. Like I said, I wanted one more lap just to see those two duel it out, because Bell had a strong race car on the long run and looked like he was going to run him down. But congratulations to Larson. He's the first guy locked into the championship race. Ryan Blaney got DQ'd, but then rescinded this afternoon. So Ryan Blaney no longer 58 points back of the cutoff. So good news for the 12 team there. Not necessarily in that must win. They still are probably going to end up in that must-win situation. But at least for now, they avoid it. Turner, we're going into the news now. Of course, NASCAR has been rumored with the new TV deal to want to do a 6-week summer broadcasting deal for the Cup Series with a streaming service or with another television service. Amazon has reportedly been the front runner for many, many months now, but it would appear we have a new competitor that is trying to enter the ring. Turner Sports, and in case you don't know, Turner has carried NASCAR for many years, I believe almost 30. So this is not a new partner by any stretch of the imagination. Turner Sports TNT are looking to come back with the NASCAR Cup Series action. They want to take back their 6-week summer stretch starting in 2025. We are very close to the current, to that negotiating window being closed to just Fox and NBC. Just saying, Amazon, of course, still probably going to be the favorite in all this, but I gotta say, wow. This one was a shot out of left field. I did not expect Turner to be involved in these discussions. And Turner, those who knew me back in the 2010s, on YouTube for being the NR, like doing the NR stuff, doing the online racing, doing all that stuff, you guys know how I feel about Turner Sports. I think it is dog shit how they covered NASCAR the last time. From when I started watching till they ended their coverage, I thought it was dog shit. Plain simple. I remember they closed it out with Adam Alexander, Kyle Petty, Wally Dallenbach in the booth. But, oh my gosh, they were dog shit. And I can't put it any nicer. So my apologies if you don't like the language, but I don't care. At the same time, I don't care. But Turner, terrible company, terrible partner for NASCAR. Now they've done well. Let's give them credit where credit is due. They do really well with basketball coverage. They do really well with hockey coverage. They also hold the match, every 2-3 times a year with celebrities, golfing against each other one-on-one for charity, or celebrities doing it. I love that. I love that coverage that they do. But NASCAR was always lagging. I just don't know what it was. Adam Alexander was quite an issue for me for those 6 weeks. I just, oh my God. I wanted to mute the TV so bad those 6 weeks during the summer. And my God, it was just horrible. I hope we don't get Turner back, and I hope every fan feels the same way, because it was dog shit at the end. Wide open coverage, you'd get commercials every 10 minutes. Wide open coverage to me is what we're seeing on the Formula One side. And like I said, just so many lies, so many just horrible coverage. Just so low budget and just horrible. That's all I can say about it. I think Amazon, I really don't want to see it go streaming, but Amazon would probably be the best bet. If not Amazon, then, honestly, what I would love to see is 16 races on Fox, 20 on ESPN is what I would, and ABC. I would ideally love to see, but I know fans are going to have unrealistic expectations, if ESPN takes over. So I don't want to see that for that reason, or I don't want fans to get an unrealistic view on what's going to happen, because it's not going to be start to finish with no commercials. There's just no way ESPN's going to do that. So, And even Turner's not going to do it. Amazon probably won't do it. But, but anybody but Turner, and get rid of NBC. If you get rid of those two things, we're fine. Now, if Turner goes out and brings back Ralph Shaheen, because I thought Ralph Shaheen was a great play-by-play announcer. I would settle for Ralph Shaheen if they brought him back. If they said, hey, Kurt Busch, you're in the booth, and said, hey, Jamie Mack, we want you. Because if they brought in those three, I don't want to see, and even if NBC returns, maybe Alan Bestwick. And if you said that, now I don't think Alan Bestwick will go back to Turner Sports, but I'm saying if you brought in any combination of those three, I think I'd be on board. I think I'd be like, okay, I'm going to take Turner a lot more seriously this time around. But they were so bad the last 3 to 4 years that they had coverage, I wouldn't want them back, to be honest. Unless those changes are made. I mean, I'd love to see Kurt Busch in the booth. I think Kurt Busch, very knowledgeable, knows a lot about this next-gen car. Jamie Mack, I don't even need to tell you how good he is. He gets so many positive reviews. If they could poach him from Fox and put him in the booth on Sundays, you'd have no complaints from me. If they go the route of Adam Alexander, I'm probably going to be listening to the NASCAR radio network or whatever radio network it's on. So that's my thoughts. Hope you guys will put yours in the comments. The NASCAR Fan Council. This was a little bit shocking, but I saw this today. Thanks to Malad Radman for pointing it out to the fans. The NASCAR Fan Council has released a survey for fans on the new console game. Essentially what fans would like to see added based on priority, a Likert scale. As someone who is a sport management graduate, great idea for research. Great idea. I think, this is going to make a lot of fans happy that they are listening, that iRacing and NASCAR are both listening. Of course, iRacing has acquired the rights to the NASCAR console games, the simulation games, from Motorsport Games. What I would like to see, and I guess I'll put my thoughts in, even though this is about sports and not necessarily gaming channel, but I want to put my thoughts in because I think they are, good. What NASCAR 04 was for us growing up in the 90s and the 2000s, kids today, kids that were born in the late 2000s, early 2010s, they'll never understand how good that game was on console. The career mode, you had to build your team from the start, basically. And you could eventually, sign with other teams, but you had to build from the start. I would love, I've said it before, any combination. Look, if we could have the difficulty of NASCAR Thunder 04, if we could have have to move up the ladder like NASCAR 06, like that kind of thing, like, you move your way up, you sign contracts, you eventually get enough money to buy your own team, I'd be all on board with that. I would also like to see something like Formula 1. My takeaway is I care more about career mode than I do any other feature. If we could also add in, like, hey, Formula 1, like, hey, these are drivers you can sign, and they will drive for your team. If you added the real-life driver contracts, hey, you got to sign crew chiefs. If you want to expand your team, you have to buy more charters. Bring that aspect into it. Maybe you say, hey, I got a part-time... Like, I know that's a lot of in-depth, but like I said, I say you work your way up from K&N to ARCA. And I doubt they'll have the rights to ARCA, but, maybe they do add ARCA Menards in there as well. That would be great. You add either that or some grassroots track. Maybe the Cars Tour, because Dale Jr. of course, owns that. Maybe you add that in there. Then the Trucks Xfinity Cup, you have to work your way up through those. I wouldn't be opposed to that. And then eventually, you save up enough money, you can either buy your own racing team or start your own and start with one car, or, start in the truck series with team ownership, whatever you want to do, essentially. I would implore that. I would really implore that. And, again, I think, charter points would be great because, hey, not everybody makes the field. So, maybe, in the Cup Series, if there's open teams, okay, you've got to race for your spot if you don't have a charter. I've always wanted that. Just to, add to the realism of racing. But that's kind of my pitch. There is a survey out there. I don't have the link, unfortunately. I will try to find it and put it in the description. But as I'm recording, I don't have the link on me. But I'm probably going to fill it out myself. If you really care about NASCAR simulation games, I hope you will take the few minutes to do so as well. If it is a public one, I know nothing other than it's out there. So I will find out more when I get off this recording. Interesting development. When we thought Carson Hocevar was going to race the rest of the season for Legacy, now that appears to not be happening. Not fully, at least. John Hunter Nemechek has been announced as the driver of the number 42 for Homestead this weekend. It is a deal that Toyota is loaning John Hunter out from Toyota to Chevy for the weekend. JGR signed off on it, so John Hunter will run this one race in the number 42 Chevrolet. Good for him. I think this is a good opportunity for him to learn, with the team, kind of build that dynamic there. Great opportunity for that to, build the chemistry, build the dynamic, and of course, kind of get prepped for next season. I get you're going to be running a Chevy. You're not going to be running the car you're going to be running next year. You're running with the team you're going to have next year, but not the car. So, at the very least, I think it's more to build the chemistry. So, I don't think it's going to be more than that. But again, I just don't know. But regardless, it's going to be good to see John Hunter run the Cup Series. He did very well last year with 2311. Of course, for those who don't remember, Bubba was suspended for Homestead last year for the incident with Kyle Larson. And he ended up driving in the 2311 Toyota, or in one of the 2311 Toyotas. Now he's going to get his shot once again driving for the team he's going to drive for starting next season. So, good to see. Happy to see it. And hopefully John Hunter has a very similar result. But again, the other question is going to be, how much info is Chevy going to be willing to share with John Hunter? Because I feel like this is going to be a limited deal. It's going to be kind of I wonder if it's going to be kind of like a Rick Ware, entry where it's going to be a car that's going to be multiple laps down and not really on pace. But again, you just don't know. Just glad to see him in the ride to at least get the experience with the team. Anyway, let's go to the picks. Truck Series at Homestead, I'm picking Ty Majeski. I believe he won this race last year. That was more my reasoning for it. So, Ty Majeski is my winner. Xfinity Series at Homestead, John Hunter Nemechek, I think, is going to do it. I believe he ran well here last year as well. So, I expect him to continue in the Xfinity Series. Cup Series at Homestead, I'm picking Tyler Reddick. This is a track that's really good for him. He knows how to ride right up against the wall and scare the crap out of everybody. So, I think he's going to ride well. He's going to push that cut line. So, going to Martinsville, there's going to be some guys on eggshells. But I think Tyler Reddick's going to get the job done and really put a damper in the championship 4. But that's all I got, guys. Thank you for watching. Tune in to No Final Bell tomorrow. Tune in to Sunday Morning Tinkle on Sunday. And we've only got a few more episodes here, but tune in on next Tuesday for another edition of Out of Turn 4. Until then, goodbye, everyone.